Rising of the sun, a new dawn beckons, giving everyone hope for a better tomorrow. One Money Remit brings convenience to your doorstep, connecting the hustlers, providers, long-distance carriers, and loved ones from one part of the city to the most remote parts across Zimbabwe, connecting people and bridging the divide through technology. We are committed to delivering innovative mobile solutions, enabling you to send and collect US dollars anywhere and making sure life goes on through one secure connection, keeping smiles alive and making a difference no matter where you are. With One Money, it's one time.
Good afternoon and welcome to ZTN News Blitz. My name is Manasha Makahlera and these are the stories making headlines. Zimbabwe's leader's apology to marginalized Binga. Teachers snub rural areas over poor network. Ghana to cut ministers' salaries 30%. And in sport, we tell you more about the cost of running a Zimbabwe football club. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa at the weekend made a passionate apology to the Binga community for the area's underdevelopment. Binga district on the southeastern shore of Lake Kariba is considered one of the most underdeveloped areas in the country, lagging behind in areas such as roads, clinics, cell phone and internet connectivity. Home to the Batonga people, Binga district is one of the country's tourist resorts. President Mnangagwa made a commitment to include Binga in the development agenda, in line with the government's policy of not leaving no one and any place behind.
Zimbabwe yakasumbunuka 1980 pamakore akawanda anodarika makumi matatu tina president vaMugabe. Hatina kuwana nguva dzakawanda dzatakasvika kuno. Ndoda kuti mutiregerere kunge tanga tisingauyi kuno. Asi kubva nhasi masamba asiyana. Kubva nhasi ndoda kuti tese patiri kufamba rwendo tanda kuti chisi chesu chisumbuke. Pakusumbura chishi tulede tonse tujatane katuwerekane.
Zimbabwean teachers in rural areas are leaving their posts due to poor cell phone network coverage and data connectivity. Primary and Secondary Education Minister Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu said this has left some schools in remote parts of the country massively understaffed. She said some of the teachers that are being recruited will be deployed to those areas to plug the existing gaps.
And also to work in the Ministry of ICT, kuti kuve ne network ikoko so that they can have my WhatsApp wachiwatsepana nevamwe vavo. Saka networks ndikushanda kuti to make sure that that ministry inotibatsira to upgrade my systems kuti tive ne ma WhatsApp in all districts nezvikoro. Ndio nyaya iripo kuti ma conditions are they are unuser friendly saka vanhu vachitiza ikoko.
Now let us take a look at tower deployment data provided by the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe. Towers ensure proper elevation to antennas that receive and transmit radio frequency signals from cell phones and other devices. For 2G network, the country has a total of 4,998 telecommunications network towers. For 3G network, there are 2,992 network towers countrywide. For LTE 4G network, there are only 1,322 towers across the country's 59 districts and 1,200 wards. 4G LTE gives users the ability to utilize and experience the internet in a quicker, richer way. Now, the few LTE 4G towers dotted across the country mean that some areas have limited access to internet services. The network towers are located across the country, and through infrastructure sharing, network providers put their active equipment on the towers to ensure network coverage in the areas. Zimbabwe's mobile network coverage is estimated at about 88%, while internet penetration in Zimbabwe stands at 33.4%. Now, POTRA's Director General, Dr. Gift Matengete, says network providers should set up more towers in order to improve coverage in the country.
Our operators, they do put their best stations where they can make the most, which, as you are aware, be in urban area. So you get urban areas properly covered, and this happens in every country, not only in Zimbabwe. So you end up with a digital divide between the rural areas and the urban areas.
It is 4 days before Zimbabwe holds National Assembly and local government by-elections. The by-elections set for Saturday, March 26, follow the recalling and deaths of some elected representatives last year. There are 122 vacant seats, out of which 28 are in the National Assembly, while the remainder are in local government. The ruling party, ZANU-PF, says it is targeting to reclaim all urban seats which were previously held by representatives from the opposition. Our correspondent Milton Sasa spoke to the party's Director of Information, Tafatswa Mokwadi, ahead of the plebiscite.
We are very clear that we are entering these by-elections with a clear confidence and a clear conscience, a desire to win these constituencies back to ZANU-PF for development. Most importantly, speaking to the urban constituencies, you are aware that a majority of these constituencies fell vacant as a result of factional squabbles between the now CC and MCC factions. Those constituencies have been taken by the opposition, and we are fighting in what used to be the inherent traditional hunting grounds of the opposition. But ZANU-PF is coming in with an urban renewal agenda. The idea is to bring back constituencies to development. It is to do away with the legacy of failure.
MDC Alliance spokesperson Witness Dube said his party is geared for the polls, echoing a call for dialogue among all political parties in the country.
We are in our final push towards the by-elections. Our candidates and our volunteers are hitting the streets as I speak. We are the only party which has gone further, which has gone beyond the manifesto to then do the one thing that is needful for us to do as Zimbabweans, that is to dialogue. We are talking of rational disputation. We are talking of dialogue across all political parties and to involve all stakeholders and all governance structures in our country, because this is what we need to be doing as a country right now.
Spokesperson for the Citizens Coalition for Change, Fadzai Mahere, says they will use the by-election to test their systems.
Most importantly, we'll be judging our own systems and processes as we build this new party. The room for improvement can never be filled, and we're committed to improving until we win Zimbabwe for change in 2023.
Meanwhile, preparations for Zimbabwe's 2022 national census have gathered, with the training of enumerators having started. 181 enumerator supervisors are undergoing a 10-day training program in Bulawayo. Zimbabwe's fifth census since independence is slated for the week of 21 to 30 April and will see the country adopting a paperless data collection approach through the use of tablets by an estimated 40,000 recruited enumerators. ZTN correspondent Tsepo Kabo spoke to Zimstat Provincial Statistical Manager Caroline Mbambo.
Buthanise abantu abangu 181 ama civil servants from across all boards. Sisenza training ama level 2s. Labo ama level 2s yibo sibathi ngama enumeration area supervisors kumbe EA supervisors. Yibo abaza trainer aba enumerator bethu ababuya ku level 3 abangu 1923. Yeah. So basically laba yiba asiba trainer siza trainer for 10 days.
Addressing the supervisors on Monday, Director of Statistical Services, Fadzain Ndlovu, reminded participants on the need to observe neutrality and professionalism in their conduct.
There is need for neutrality on all issues and at all times. Then we are expected to be a disciplined workforce. Also, be respectful always as you address the respondents. And lastly, there is the issue of confidentiality. Please assure our respondents that this data which you are collecting shall be confidential.
In other news, students in Zimbabwe state universities are unhappy with the provision of the State Universities Bill, which is setting the number of student representatives who sit in the University Council to just one. The State Universities Act is being amended to align it with the government's new Education 5.0 thrust. ZTN News spoke to some student representatives during public hearing of the bill held in Harare recently.
However, we still feel that there are some elements that are going to deprive the students, especially on the issue of representation in the council. The amendment suggests that there's supposed to be one student representative in the council, and we all know that the council is the decision-making board of the university. So for us to have one student representative out of 10 to 20 people, it will be an unfair representation on the part of the students, which is why we would suggest that they should add probably the Secretary General and the Secretary for Social Welfare as well, so that they are part of the council, so they are part of the decision-making processes of the university.
Concerns were also raised about the composition of disciplinary committees in universities.
They spoke very strongly that the Pro-Vice Chancellor should not preside over the chairmanship of the disciplinary committee, because they feel that they will feel intimidated. So they were suggesting that somebody from outside, like a retired judge, should come and preside over disciplinary cases. They felt that for the minister to be responsible for approval of those appointments would be too much for the minister. So they would rather feel that it's important for the University Council to be responsible for that.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Higher and Tertiary Education is now compiling a report of the hearings, which will be tabled in Parliament soon.
So after we are done with the public hearings like we have, and we have got some that we are going to be meeting on Thursday, and after compiling all the written submissions, we then come up with a report as a committee. That report is tabled in Parliament within 14 days. Is it within 14 days? Then there will be a debate in Parliament. After a debate where every member of Parliament, even those that are not for the committee, are free to debate on that bill. Then after that, the minister will then answer or respond to the report.
Residents in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, say they have nothing to celebrate as the country joins the rest of the world in commemorating World Water Day. Residents who spoke to ZTN News said having clean running tap water in Harare is a dream they have given up on.
To celebrate, because if I have to travel 3 kilometers to come and get water this side here, then there's nothing to really celebrate.
Chinoitika nchokuti pamwe inobuda mvura ine tsvina zvokuti amugona kuinwa, pamwe wakaichera zviya wakagadzika bhaketi pasi unoona ine mazerere anoratidza kuti itori netsvina. Saka iye yakanaka kuti inenge isina tsvina, inenge yakakavha yakavharika. Vazhinji vanotoishandisa, vamwe vanotoonwa, inenge yakanaka.
Zvinotongorwadza because tangokura chimwe pativi, mvura yepativi haikubhoyi kutofambira kuita vanhu zvatongokuti zvangu musystem yevanhu tatojairawo zvedu ngokuti mvura yekanzuru mazuva ano haichamwiwa vanhu vaumwe ipabhoho, but zvinotorwadza. Ngavagadzire mvura yekanzuru, timwe yedu yekanzuru yatajaira.
According to the Zimbabwe National Water Authority, at least 21% of people in the southern African country do not have access to clean water. The Zimbabwean government has pledged to ensure that all citizens will have access to clean water, as highlighted in Sustainable Development Goal 6. However, there are threats to this cause. Deputy Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Douglas Karoro, said human activities such as mining and poor waste management were polluting water sources.
we continue to witness unsustainable levels of pollution of our water bodies, mainly through the discharge of untreated or insufficiently treated sewer and industrial effluent into rivers and dams. The upsurge in artisanal and alluvial gold mining along our rivers is compounding our efforts for the sustainable delivery of water to our people. Poor waste management practices in urban areas are also contributing to the high levels of pollution of our water bodies, as most of the uncollected garbage is ending up in our rivers and dams after being carried by wind or runoff.
UNESCO Regional Director for Southern Africa, Professor Lydia Berthos, speaks.
In many countries, the general lack of groundwater professionals among the staff of institutions and local and national government, as well as institution mandates, financing and support groundwater departments or agencies, hamper effective groundwater management. The commitment of governments to build, support, and maintain institutional capacity related to groundwater is crucial.
Mbakwe shares more from his recent visit to Solgas Energy.
Two years ago, this 9-hectare plot was a hive of activity as artisans joined nuts and bolts, laying a foundation for an ambitious energy project. Fast forward to 24 months, things have changed. The 5-megawatt solar power plant worth $7 million is now fully operational and feeding into the national grid. A jubilant Solgas Energy Chief Executive Officer could not hide his joy.
I'm over the moon. I think my whole team, the shareholders, the board of directors, we've been getting phone calls everywhere. Our families, we're full of pride. I think it's something that we wanted to do really well. It's something that we wanted to do to make sure that the community here is proud of what we've done in their local area.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa commissioned the plant, which is both spearheaded and financed by locals.
I am honored and privileged to officiate at this commissioning ceremony of the Solgas Private Limited 5-megawatt solar power plant here in Hwange district. This project will undoubtedly contribute to the quest to realize energy self-sufficiency in our country, more so as we accelerate and industrialize.
The project, President Mnangagwa said, will increase output from renewable energy as Zimbabwe takes baby steps to go green.
This investment is in line with the National Renewable Energy Policy, which targets increasing the contribution of renewable energy to the electricity supply mix from about 6% in 2019 to about 27 or 30% by 2030. Solar power is a critical renewable energy source.
Solgas now plans to expand to the country's 10 provinces.
Our dream is to have one of these in every province, and I feel it's doable. I think we can do something like that. We can do that ourselves. 5 megawatts in every province is 50 megawatts, and then we grow from there. I think we've demonstrated here that we've got people who if we work together, pension funds, banks, developers, etc., we can pull this off.
But for the plant to exist, someone had to provide the required $7 million. After knocking on several doors and almost giving up, Old Mutual Investment Group came through and paid the bills.
So as investors, we sat down and spoke to Solgas, and we realized that we've got one goal. This is our third success story actually in the last few years. So given our strategy and this alignment with what Solgas wanted to do, we just thought it was a perfect partnership.
Old Mutual is not stopping there. They are ready to be part of the SOGA's expansion drive.
For universities and even polytechnics can now come through and be trained about such engineering.
So look, once we start doing this ourselves, it gives more opportunities for more training, opportunities for kids in colleges, kids in universities. We can have skills transfers. People can come here and learn apprenticeships. Once you do things ourselves, we can always find ways of how we can empower other young people.
SOGAS is one of the many initiatives being undertaken in Matabele North, which will eventually become Zimbabwe's energy hub. A number of major projects are at different phases of construction in the province. You talk of the Gwai Shangani and the completion of Wange 7 and 8 expansion project. Taku Chiambakwe for ZTN News.
Over the past 40 years, most properties in Zimbabwe have been owned by men, leaving women and children vulnerable. Now, the National Building Society has partnered National Social Security Authority, providing women with financial services products which capacitate them to run businesses and access mortgages and building finance, including those in the informal sector. NBS Head of Credit, Charity Chiwasha, said this during the NBS and NASA Women's Month High Tea celebration.
Would like to break the bias that it is those that are in the formal sector that will benefit. This year, going forward, the informal sector and women in the informal sector need to participate and own properties. To own a property as a woman, you do not necessarily need to be in a relationship and married, as this is the tradition, not only in Africa, but also in Zimbabwe. You can start the process in your early 20s. So we want to empower the women who are in their early 20s. They've just finished college.
Zimbabwe's second largest city, Bulawayo, recovered more than 100 stolen chickens during a routine traffic stop in the city outskirts. Police stopped the driver of a red Toyota Realm, who then sped off before landing the vehicle into a ditch and fled on foot. Of the 103 chickens that were recovered, only 86 survived. Police spokesperson, Assistant Inspector Abedniko Ncube, confirmed the incident.
Basebehlangana le Toyota Realm ebomvu ebihamba itshengisela ukuthi ayimanga kahle, bazama ukuyimisa, umtshayeli wayo wabaleka, wadriver off, bathe bemlandela wasewela ku ditch, bafika lapho umtshayeli lo wayehle emoteni wabaleka, bazama kamapolisa ukumgijimisa kodwa basamtholanga. Baphendukile kamapolisa bakhangela emoteni bathola ukuthi bekule nkukhu uhlobo lwama layers.
In regional and international news, we'll start with Ghana, where President Nana Akufo-Addo could reduce the salaries of appointees by between 20 and 30%, according to reports. Salaries of ministers, heads of state enterprises, as well as heads of municipal and district assemblies will all be affected. The move is to protect social interventions such as the school feeding program. There are no survivors following the crash of a Chinese airliner carrying 132 people, the country's state broadcaster has confirmed. The China Eastern Airlines plane was flying from Kunming to the eastern city of Guangzhou when it crashed in a mountainous area near the city of Wuzhou in the country's south yesterday. A 50-year-old man went on trial in Germany yesterday, accused of shooting dead a petrol station cashier last year because he was angry about being told to wear a face mask while buying beer. The murder happened last September in the western town of Ida Oberstein, Germany. The European Union's foreign ministers disagreed yesterday on whether and how to slap sanctions on Russia's lucrative energy sector over its invasion of Ukraine, with Germany saying the bloc was too dependent on Russian oil to decide an embargo. Up next is sports news. recent years, we have witnessed the demise of several clubs in the top flight and lower division due to liquidity challenges. All the teams which were in the Premier Soccer League in 2010, including former champions Gunners, Monomatapa and Motor Action, have all folded, save for the three traditional giants Dynamos, Highlanders and of course Caps United. What could be the challenges associated with operating a football team in Zimbabwe? Speaking on today's edition of The Couch, football administrator Namo Tutisani shared on the costs and tussles associated with running a club.
First and foremost, for you to run a venture like Caps United Football Club, just like any other club in the PSL, I want to believe, resources are required. Resources are required to take care of a number of cost centers. Predominantly the one which is popular, which usually causes problems, are remunerations, staff costs.
Some dreams come true because they're meant to. It has been a dream for Zimbabwe fast bowler Blessing Mzarabani to play in the Indian Premier League. Well, that dream has come true. The 2 meters tall bowler career is set to reach new heights as he will be part of the Lucknow Super Giants in this season's IPL. We get more from our correspondent Brighton Jawi.
Yes, it's speculation yesterday to the Indian embassy in Zimbabwe to take a picture of Mzarabani with the ambassador, with him congratulating him and wishing him a safe journey on his new deal. So that's when it was confirmed that Mzarabani is set to be the 4th Zimbabwean to play in the appeal. He joins names like Tatenda Taibu, Brendan Taylor and Raymond Price as the other Zimbabweans to play in the appeal. He's joining the Lucknow Super Giants, a new team, and will be captained by Keola, Indian superstar who is debating on all the formats for India. In Flower, obviously being the coach of the North and Southern way, he was with Mzarabani, where they won the PSO together. He's also the guy who contributed for Mzarabani to be signed by the PO. He replaces the injured Mark Wood. Remember, England are playing West Indies in the Caribbean. So Mark Wood was injured after the first test. He was the guy that has been replaced by Blessing Mzarabani. And his progression as a cricketer continues, making history for Zimbabwe cricket.
Now, for Zimbabwe Sabres captain Hilton Mudariki, the World Cup remains a dream, but that has not stopped him and his teammates from working towards that. Mudariki says every move they take and every opportunity they are in the field of play is one step towards the dream.
We haven't been to a World Cup since 1991, and we have the perfect opportunity to qualify. But I think for us, the most important thing is just to take it one step at a time. Focus on Currie Cup, make sure that our structures are good, make sure that our combinations are good. And it's a perfect opportunity also for the coaches to have a look at some of the guys like a Carlos who hasn't been involved in the Sable setup but gets an opportunity, and you never know, he might step up and make the final squad that goes to France.
That was Mudariki's exclusive interview with Chido Manua ahead of their participation at the Currie Cup in South Africa. The team left yesterday. And that brings News Blitz to an end today. That's all we had for you. Thanks for watching.